I thought the environment over there was really good for them, and a big plus for them is they shot the ball extremely well. Probably the best they've shot the three-point shot in a long time. They shot it well, and we did not shoot it well. And I don't think we closed out the game very well. Lost our composure a little bit down the stretch, but I thought their shooting and that crowd and that energy in the building had a lot to do with that.
Have to only have 3 days to prepare for a game like Arizona.
Extremely tough, particularly getting back late night, Sunday night. You don't sleep well. These guys that get up and go to class on Monday, and they got some bruises, bumps and bruises, and now you got to try to get a practice in a day to play a team of that magnitude on Wednesday. That's extremely tough to do, and we know that. But yet we have to play. We have to get ready to play, and we'll be ready to play.
You think DeAndre is kind of as imposing as players there is in the country this year? I think he brings to that.
There's no question about it. With the size, the athleticism, the skill set, I just think he's a very difficult matchup for anybody in the country, and he's one of the reasons that team is one of the best teams in the country right now with the way they're playing.
How much of an advantage is it to have Drake, who actually, I know it's a different team than last year, but to have Drake here, he's already played him before as well?
Well, it's an advantage for us that you won't have so many new guys going through this experience again for the first time, having to play in Arizona. Now you've got Drake, you've got Malachi, you've got Robo, and you've got Viante that understand what they're coming up against. And Drake, just with his size and his quickness, hopefully can neutralize some of the bigness, as I call it, in the game that they bring to the table. They're extremely big, they're athletic, they defend, they run, they score, they do everything right. And they're an impressive basketball team, so we've got to offset some of that, and having some size that can do that certainly helps.
Are your guards taking the challenge of going up against, like you said, these big-time guards? They're big defensively in Trier and Atkins.
Well, I don't care whether it's Trier or Atkins. It's any guards in this conference are really good. And we've struggled to defend a lot of guards in this conference and guards that have been on our schedule, period. So we're going to have to do a much better job in this game. You're not going to shut this team down. You're going to have to be able to play with this team is going to be the biggest thing. So I'm hoping that our guards are up for the challenge, and they should be.
Carter has had a big impact on the team this season. What's made him so successful?
I think with Carter is his passion for the game. I think his ability to shoot the ball, the system that he's playing in. I think playing with a staff that gives him green light to shoot it. When you have that kind of confidence, you don't kind of look over your shoulders much. And I think that's given him an opportunity to really have some early success in his college career at this level. He has some limitations on the defensive side of things, and he's going to have to work on, and we can do more of that and get him a little bit quicker during the off season. But certainly offensively, he's just going to get better and better the more comfortable he gets playing at this level.
How has he been able to make that transition from that college to here? Just it's been seamless.
He's got a coach that loves him. That's how it makes it easy. When a coach lets you shoot the ball and gives you a green light to shoot and tells you to keep shooting it, it makes it easy for you. So I think he does not have to worry whatsoever. And I think the fact that his dad coached him and he understands the game, I think that helps. And I just think, when you have energy, and when you have passion for the game, when you want to get out and perform for the students, when you want to be under the bright lights, he just embraces all of that. And a lot of times, freshmen or new players, even some of your veteran players, they sometimes fear that. They sometimes get nervous. They get scared. That's not him. He gets into those environments. He wants to show out, and that's why I love him as a player, because when he gets on center stage, he loves to perform. He doesn't run from the moment. He embraces the moment, and that's huge.
How do you guys plan on stopping DeAndre?
We're not going to stop him. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not about stopping him. I think the biggest thing for us in the game is making sure we have our energy and our competitive nature to go into a game ready to play and be able to show what we can do. That's the biggest thing in this game.
Carter kind of has a way of engaging the other team's crowd at USC. He kind of got some boos. You dubbed their kind of chanting his name. Is that the passion, the energy that he plays, that he's kind of the target rather than someone else on the team?
That's some of the stupidity of a new guy not understanding you don't get a team's crowd fired up before the game, and that's just that's the things he's going to have to learn because you got to kind of channel that a little bit and understand that you don't want to get the crowds all too riled up. It's tough enough playing in these environments for us, and he doesn't understand that side of it yet. But I think, again, going through this the first time for him and Quentin Henson, Milan Aqua, Arinze Cheatham, Jamar Aker, I'm going to keep going on, Vontae Cooper, for them to see it, they'll perform better in it as we get down the road, and hopefully before this season is over with, more so than looking towards the next year when those guys are a little bit older and everything.
There was a time during the first half where Robo picked up that second foul, and he kind of looked back to the bench and said, I kind of gave you guys one of these. Were you kind of happy with the way he played defensively, kind of staying away from picking up that third ticky-tack foul?
I think players at this level, particularly when you get to be juniors and seniors, they have a feel for the game, and we have a rule there. If you're going to pick up too early fouls, I'm probably going to sit you. And in that case, he felt comfortable enough that he could contain himself and play D and stay out of foul trouble. And I'm a smart enough coach to listen to him. And when he gave me that signal to leave him in, I left him in. And I thought he handled himself extremely well. For about 15 minutes of that game, I thought it was a great college basketball game. And then it kind of got away from us a little bit. That crowd roared up on us, and things went in their favor with a couple of their shots that didn't go in for us. And the game got away from us a little bit. That's experience.
Coach, Arizona statistically this year has been one of the worst teams at shooting-wise, getting in the paint, allowing a lot of free throws. Are you going to give your team the green light in terms of if they get open shots or trying to get in the paint to take advantage of that sort of thing?
Being new to this, there's two things you'll learn about us coaches. Very seldom we give our game plans away to the media. But I will say you're absolutely right in your assessment in terms of what you've seen about them. So it's no secret that you try to make teams play to their weaknesses versus playing to their strengths in that, and we're no different. But again, I will say it isn't so much game planning against them as it is what mentality we bring to the floor with this short window that we're in, coming back from losing a rival game, getting back late, getting up for classes, feeling a little beat up. Okay, where are we at game time come Wednesday? That's going to be the biggest thing in this game for us.
What kind of mentality is that? You mentioned it just a moment ago. What kind of mentality does the team need to bring?
They need to bring a competitive nature to the game because, when teams like Arizona, when you get your better teams in the country, they're not going to deviate. They are who they are, and they're going to come. They're going to play at a certain level. You're either going to have to come up to their level, or you're going to get your tail kicked. Well, the good thing about the game is it's going to force you to grow up during the game one way or another. The other good piece about it is we have the ability to grow up because we're a young team. So I'm anxious for the game just to see how we respond to that competition and see what competitive nature we bring to the game, because win or lose the game, it's going to force you to play at a higher level. That's a good thing for us.
Ristich has really been a factor for them lately. He was Player of the Week this last week. What is he bringing to them this year that he wasn't necessarily bringing last year? Experience is who he is. He's been around long enough. He's been through the battles. He's got more of, he has to be the man inside, even though you get that other stud sitting over there. Here's a guy that has played alongside a Marketing who's in the NBA this year that's very productive in the NBA. He knows. He's comfortable under the bright lights. He's comfortable with the ball. He's comfortable in the moment. Oh, and by the way, he's got 2 or 3 NBA players around him as well too. That makes you play with even more comfortability. So I think all those things thrown together, you have a player that's playing at a very high level because he's been through the fires, he's experienced, and he's on a really good team that gives you a comfort zone to play at that level.
Taylor, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Coach, Kent, this is Bruce Pasco out in Tucson. If you can hear me all right?
Hi, Bruce.
I was just wondering, hey, how are you doing? I was wondering if you probably talked about it, I'm sure, with your local guys, but I was just kind of wondering some perspective. I remember coming into the year, Robert had lost a lot of weight. You were kind of projecting he'd have a better year, especially shooting, but did you expect the kind of three-point shooting and some percentage that you guys are hitting and taking, or is it just something that sort of evolved that you've coached to as the season's gone?
No, I think when we put this group together, very similar to my Oregon teams, we needed to shoot the ball better, and we knew that, and we recruited to that. I've got a good group that can shoot it. They're just not a very experienced group right now, so they kind of come and go on it. But when we're on, we're pretty good. So I would say yes, I expected us to shoot the three well. It doesn't bother me how many of them we shoot. It's kind of what we hang our hat on a little bit. And Robert is one of the better shooters on our team.
Yeah. Are there any other things that you've changed, being as you had maybe you might say maybe more traditional bigs in the past few years, and you've got Robert and Drick up there up front, and what else does that make you guys do that you've been trying to work with?
I just think it makes us better defensively. We can do a few things differently. We're a little bit quicker this year than we were last year. Even though Josh and Connor Clifford were bigger players, this group is a little bit more athletic, a little quicker.
Okay. And finally, I was just wondering in general, at halfway point of Pac-12, if you have any thoughts or surprises that you've seen around the league when you look at it, what's going on now?
I think the league, just like every year, is extremely competitive. Obviously, the job Bobby did down at Arizona State early, and I think his team is right there. They're just going through a little bit of a lull right now. That is a very good basketball team. Mike's done an outstanding job with his team over at UW and everything. So the league is competitive as ever from top to bottom. And on any given night, anybody can play with anybody. For Utah to go in and Colorado to go in and have those tight games at Arizona, that's a very difficult place to play. That tells you how good those two teams are, though. And the league is just good. There's just no night offs anywhere you go. You got experience all over the league, veteran players, veteran coaches. It's just competitive as heck, which again, has put an enormous amount of pressure, I think, on our officials to be on their job, because the league is so doggone competitive. They have to be on their jobs, and so many of these games are coming down to the wire, which puts, again, I've said this in many years, a premium on officiating, coaching, free throw shooting, point guard leadership. All that stuff has been extremely important in this league because the teams are so competitive, and it won't begin any differently as we turn and head towards the second half of the conference and at the Pac-12 tournament.
Do you kind of did you kind of expect SC and Arizona would be up there like they are? It seems like finally, as sort of teams that are to beat at this point.
Well, both of those teams are just loaded with talent. They both have to go through some external things, obviously, and I think they've kind of righted themselves as they've come through the season, and here they are. They're the two most talented teams. They're the two best teams, and I think that's why they're rising to the top again.